This week on CMO Weekly, we're diving into the future of decentralized science with Jarrod Frankel, the CMO at AxonDAO. With a deep background in B2B marketing, content strategy, and digital innovation, Jay is now at the forefront of a movement that's reshaping how scientific research is funded, shared, and advanced through blockchain technology. Prior to joining Axon, Jay led marketing at Pangea and founded Sun and Moon Marketing, where he helped brands scale their digital presence and connect with audiences across Web3 and beyond. His expertise spans PR, influencer partnerships, growth strategy, and community engagement, making him a key player in bridging traditional marketing with emerging decentralized ecosystems. In this episode, we'll explore how decentralized science is challenging traditional research models, the role of marketing in Web3 and DeSci, and why storytelling still matters, and what brands can learn from decentralized communities. Jay, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Very, very happy to be here.
Bring me all the way back to you growing up. What was your first foray into marketing and realizing that this was this place that you wanted to live?
Yeah, so this is a good question. So originally from Johannesburg in South Africa. Had a pretty unique career in the beginning. I started out in private security and started doing a bit of the technical side of things. Technology became a big focus of mine. And then I made the mistake of reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He speaks about the need for property and how property can be a really good avenue for you to grow. So I jumped into a construction business. Myself, my brother started a construction business. And that was right up until about COVID time, where we were renovating, building houses and pretty much everything you can think of from a construction perspective. Right up until COVID. Can't do much in COVID from a building perspective. So kind of had to reevaluate things, and I thought to myself, what was the one thing I really enjoyed about the company that I was running? And it was really the marketing aspect of things. How can you create these unique visuals or storytelling? It's just taking a property and making it appealing to somebody, and how can you market that? So that was kind of really what sprung my interest. And I started on Instagram. I started playing around with some Instagram accounts, and then I joined a digital marketing agency called the Social Butterfly out in Cape Town in South Africa. Really cool agency led by a really incredible person. Started out as a digital marketing just manager, quickly moved up to digital marketing strategist and specialist. And then I started getting introduced to Web3 and the technology behind Web3. And coming from South Africa.
What about that drew you in, and what was your first impression of the Web3 market?
Yeah, so I think everybody's first impression is what is this, And I think that's what kind of separates projects now. Is a lot of projects in crypto are kind of creating for the sake of creating. They're putting tokens out that are searching for utility. They're not really solving a problem. So for me, what drew me in was what does this actually do? What is the meaning of this? So it's like coming from South Africa and seeing the kind of poverty that's in South Africa, you realize it's a very institutional grade kind of, it's ingrained in the society that there are these problems that people can't overcome. So the technology and the use case behind the technology is what really attracted me to Web3, because I believe that it can have a really big impact in the world if it's done the right way and the right use cases are focused on. So that's what kind of drew me into the space.
What are some of the use cases that you view as problems that Web3 can really solve?
Yes, this is a great question. I think logically, science, where I've moved into now, is a fantastic area to start. Kind of reducing the barriers to entry for researchers. Very good way for the kind of enabling of innovation. And this for me is the key. It's there's so much innovation, and a lot of innovation is kind of blocked by centralized, controlled entities where everything's got to be controlled, and they have to own everything. And decentralization and crypto blockchain technology kind of enables this. It's kind of, I've always gone with the attitude of, you can either build it with us or you can watch us build it. We're going to do that either way. So in my opinion, it's DeSci, decentralized science is one.
And tell me, for those of our listeners that don't really know what decentralized science and the benefits of it and what you see, right? What is it? And what problems is it solving?
Yeah, so decentralized science is basically a way of looking at scientific advancement from a decentralized perspective. So it's incorporating blockchain technology into the type of technology that you're building. So it's starting right at the ground, the very, very base level, and saying, how can I integrate blockchain technology, immutable, easy to access, the type of technology that can really take a researcher and help them build something really quickly and have easy ways for people to fund their business. So for example, that's what AxonDAO does, right? So at AxonDAO, what we do is we give researchers the opportunity to pitch their research papers through, the relevant channels. And that goes through a DAO system, right? DAO voting system. So DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. And basically you can think of this as a group of people who vote on something, and there's no centralized power source. It's completely and utterly diplomatic and democratic. So that for me is also a big thing that attracted me to this. And so yeah, that's kind of the short use case, yeah.
So 5 years ago at the beginning of COVID, right, you started dipping your toe into marketing, and now you're the CMO of an awesome company, right? What was crucial to your success and really like seeing success and seeing your products really work and people believing in you?
That's a fantastic question. I was actually asked this by somebody not too long ago. I think the key for growth in any career is to not be afraid to put your hand up, So if there's an opportunity that you feel might be a good fit for you, or it's something you're interested in, do the best that you can to try and get into that space. Don't be afraid. Like a good kind of analogy is everybody in the space, or everybody who's achieving something really successful has imposter syndrome. And I feel that if you don't have imposter syndrome, you're not reaching high enough. So for me, the big thing is when the opportunity comes, put your hand up and take it. That's the critical thing. So I've always been overly ambitious, and I've always studied. I've always tried to, learn what's going on, speak to people who are far smarter than I am, because I know I'm not the smartest person in the world. There are other people much smarter than I am, and I can leverage their experience.
That makes you smart too, for even realizing that. What made AxonDAO the right place for you to move your career and focus on DeSci?
Yeah, so it's just about solving a real problem. So the space I was in previously is it's very developer centric. So at Pangea, the focus was particularly on data, infrastructure, and indexing. So in other words, for a blockchain, it's really easy to write data to a blockchain. It's really difficult to get that data off of the blockchain. It's a huge blocker for people who are wanting to build protocols and wanting to build like online businesses, focusing on crypto. So it was just very developer centric, and the reason I moved was because I wanted to get involved in something that I felt would have more real world impact, affect things in a more positive way. And like some of the innovative projects that are being built there, CureOS ring, this is a ring that it's like a smart ring, a wearable, and what it does is it tracks your biomarkers. It's a really innovative project. A+ voice, using only your voice to detect using only your voice to detect specific diseases, Alzheimer's, these kinds of things. And it's really delving into these things. I think a lot of people have questions about some of these things, like, for example, cannabis, psilocybin, these kinds of things. People have questions about these things. And kind of removing the taboo around it and just giving way to innovative people to do research, create innovative things. This for me it's a problem-solving thing.
And talk to me, where do you think the future of DeSci is going?
This is a good question. I think I'm not really too sure, to be honest. I think the future is, that's the nice thing about it, is there's no set path, right? It's like, I think DeSci is going to enable researchers and projects to get involved in building what they want to build far quicker than they would if they were doing the traditional methodology. So I think DeSci is really going to be a driving force behind the progress in science. And I mean, it's anything really. I mean, obviously with being so closely related to blockchain and tech, I think we'll see a lot to do with wearable technology, this kind of technology, and I think a lot of it's just enabling innovation. I think that's the key. Really. That's what DeSci is going to do.
We've talked a lot about your career, but also your personal life, right? We talked quickly before, just having a daughter, right? What has that taught you, and fatherhood taught you, just about life in general?
That's a very good question. I think for me personally, having a kid changes your life. I don't know. I mean, do you have kids?
Not yet. No.
Changes your life completely. And I think the one thing it kind of teaches you is, it kind of teaches two things. Like how it's taught me from a life perspective is to just slow down, right? Because I think that's a big thing that a lot of us do, is we try to move too fast. Let's just slow down, be present in the moment, take a second to focus on what's happening. A lot of us, particularly in the tech space, we move so quickly, we're trying to do so many things. aside from this, it's taught me patience, because, and the same thing, if you're applying this to teams, it's the same thing. How you're managing teams, how you're engaging with people. It's just from the point of view of, you have to have patience and help people to understand things. It's collaboration is the key. So from a fatherhood perspective, patience for sure.
There you go.
For sure.
Well, good life lesson to us all. Let's hit the quick question round. Person you'd most want to sit down to dinner with, dead or alive?
My dad.
Favorite city in the world?
Shanghai.
Is it okay to sleep with socks on?
Oh, yes.
There you go. Favorite rom-com?
Favorite what, sorry?
Romantic comedy.
I can't think of any.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Babylon AD.
If you were to move anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Dubai.
Is Santa real?
Yes, of course.
In 40 years from now, what will people be nostalgic for?
What would people be?
Nostalgic for?
Oh, wow, that's a really good question. Smartphones.
Worst advice you've ever been given?
Be realistic.
Best advice?
Put your hand up.
Put your hand up.
Put your hand up. Give it a try.
How would you sum up the internet in one sentence?
The Library of Alexandria.
And in 10 years, where can we catch you?
Catch me?
Yeah.
Revolutionizing DeSci.
There you go. Jarrod,
Yes, sir.
thanks so much for
Much
coming on, man.
appreciated,
That was
man.
great.
Thank you.